Today, I'm going to show you guys something I've honestly never considered just because I never thought of it. Now, for some reason, whenever it comes to vehicles, it's just something we simply don't think of. But as we all know, as screens are getting bigger and bigger and more expensive, there are some massive screens in new vehicles today, even the Jeep Wrangler. Now, for some reason, whenever we buy a new vehicle, a screen protector or a case isn't something we think of. Now, whenever we buy a Jeep Wrangler, of course, we think of exterior armor and pretty much anything you can think of to make the outside just a little bit tougher. But what about the inside? Now, we've went over the seat covers, the floor mats, and stuff like that I've added in the past to make the interior a little bit more rugged and take a little bit more abuse. But today, I'm going to show you guys a screen protector for our JL Wranglers. Now, this product is actually made by Screen Protect. They make a few different options. You're able to get a bunch of different things for a bunch of different vehicles. Of course, for this one, this is going to be going on the Rubicon 392. For the screen we have on the inside of it, it is a 8.4 inch screen. And then of course we've got that awesome display on the inside with the analog gauges as well. And it's got protectors for both. Now, whenever you order it online, this is exactly the packaging it's going to come in, and it's basically just a little tube. Now, for this tube to take it off, you can just twist it off. And it does have barcodes on it as well for install instructions. It even has one right here, and I thought this was pretty funny. We all skip over instructions every single time, but it seems like they know that. It says, seriously, read the directions, it helps. So I thought that was pretty funny. Now, on the inside of this, in terms of what we get, the first thing that you'll get is just a little spray bottle, and it's actually got just a little drop of soap. So that's going to help us whenever we're actually applying that protector to it. Then aside from that, we've also got a little microfiber towel, and then inside of that towel, you've actually got a little squeegee as well. And it's actually some kind of rubber material, so it's not some just cheap plastic. So we've got the spray bottle, we've got the towel, we've also got the squeegee. And then once you get past all that stuff, you're just going to have your actual products themselves. So for this, we've actually got the screen protector for the 8.4 inch screen, and we've also got the screen protector for the actual gauge cluster. For this right here, we've got two separate cutouts of each, so you do have an insurance one. That way you can throw it on, and if you don't do it correctly the first time, you've got a second one to do that. Now for mine, I actually ordered the ones that are matte, so it's the anti-glare. That's my biggest issue whenever I usually am trying to look at my screen with the top off, whatever the case may be. So this is going to be anti-glare, and I believe the gauge cluster ones are actually just going to be HD, so it makes it look just a little bit clearer. Now they say to fill this up with some warm water, that way you can use it in the application process, and that's exactly what we're going to do. But first, I'm actually going to pull this out, that way we're in the sunlight and you guys can see it a little bit better. Now, as you guys already know, this Jeep stays pretty filthy. Even when I clean it, just dust collects on the outside. But for the inside itself, especially with taking the top and doors off as frequently as I do, a lot of dust just gets on the inside. One of the biggest problems with that is obviously the screen. Hopefully you guys can see it on camera, but it's always pretty nasty. And inevitably, whenever it is nasty like this, not only does it make it harder to see, but then I go to wipe it down with my microfiber towel, and I get all kinds of small scratches on the screen. It's really something that you're not able to avoid, and where it's a Jeep, usually I just don't worry about it that much. Now, obviously, if I would have known about this product sooner, I probably would have got it a lot quicker, because I've already got some scratches right here. And whenever you go off-road and you get these things covered in mud and then you're using your finger on it, that's whenever you'll really scratch it up. So I've already done that my fair share of times, but to prevent it from getting any worse, we're going to go ahead and start with the first step. Now, for the first step, you'll just want to wipe it down normally like you guys saw right there. And then after that, you're going to want to spray a little bit of your solution on there. And then once you've got a little solution on there, use your nice fancy towel, at least see how it goes, and wipe it down again. Of course, the way that these bezels are made, you'll really want to try to get in those corners as good as you can, but obviously just wipe it down, simple and easy. Then after you've wiped it down one good time, you'll just want to spray it again. And then you'll want to use your squeegee to really get all that stuff off. And depending on how nasty yours is, you may want to repeat step 1 and 2 a couple extra times. On this one, I did each step twice and may need to do it again. Now, once it looks like you've got all of your dust off the way that you want, whenever you grab these, it's actually going to be the sticky side is the side that's stuck to the paper, so just remember that. It's almost like you're applying tint, so you want to spray this down, and you can be a little bit generous with that. And then you'll just pull this off. And before you actually install it, you'll want to spray it as well. And then you'll just want to line it up. Well, I've already messed up the first one, so I'm glad it came with that insurance one. I'm just going to pull this one off and consider it a lost cause. What I did is whenever I was using my squeegees, I pushed it too far behind the bezel, and then it had about an inch left right here. So, glad it came with the insurance one. And you will have a little bit of slack in the corners, so you just want to be able to tuck that in. And you'll want to spray a little bit onto your screen on the outside, and then you can squeegee it down. Now I'm just going to wipe away a lot of that excess. And it's on just like that. Now you will want to remember one of the last steps. Make sure you do spray it even after you've got it applied before you have to use the squeegee on here. Just makes it glide a lot easier and you won't get any extra scratching or scarring or anything like that. And now that we've got the screen all done, let's go ahead and move over to the gauge cluster. It's going to be the exact same steps for the most part. And my first step is just going to be wiping these things down. They are absolutely filthy. On the cleaning process, it's pretty much the exact same. So you just spray a little bit. Then you want to wipe it down. And same thing for my gauge cluster. I've actually got quite a few scratches on it already, but at least this will prevent it from getting any worse. And we'll start off with probably our hardest one first to see how it goes. Spray this down. Same thing for this right here. You'll want to spray the outside again. Then you can squeegee it. And it's pretty much the same thing as tint on cars. It does take a few days for it to actually cure, but within the first week or so, it should be all good to go. Now I'm just wiping this down on the outside. And just like that, it is all good to go. We'll do the exact same thing on these two analog gauges. Now the main thing really is just making sure you've got it all pushed in and aligned the way you want before you do start to squeegee it. And just like that, you're all done. So as you guys can tell there on the gauge cluster, it's got everything set up. And of course, like I said, that is the HD film. Now it will take a little while to cure, but just for getting it honestly just now set up, it's looking pretty good and no bubbles at all. Now for the screen itself, you guys can see I've got it fully installed. Like I said, I've already had a few scratches, and that's not really going to help hide those scratches behind the cover. But you can see on this side, I didn't really have many scratches on the actual screen, but on this side, I actually already did. So it's kind of a lost cause, but it's at least nice to know it's not going to get any worse from now on. So that's a good thing. But let's turn the screen on and see what it looks like with the anti-glare. Now that is pretty crazy. Now you can see on the gauge cluster right there, that's without anti-glare. And this is the anti-glare on the actual screen. Whoa, that is crazy. Y'all can see the sun is right there, right on top of it. And you can see it literally Oh, almost every angle. So every angle above it you can see, which is awesome. That is absolutely insane. Yeah, that is definitely going to make everything a whole lot easier whenever you're off-road. Now for the gauge cluster itself, of course, whenever you're pretty much straight on, you can always kind of see it, so it's not as much of an issue. But for the screen where you're always off to the side, you usually do have quite a bit of a glare, and that is just completely gone with this. That's pretty impressive. Even if you're not just looking for the actual perspective of keeping it safe, just being able to actually see it is extremely convenient. That makes a world of difference, especially if you're like me and you like to run with that freedom panel out, top off, doors off, whatever the case may be. That really comes in handy. Now, it really couldn't get much simpler than that for an install on pretty much anything. But if you guys are interested in this product, obviously I've got links down in the description below. I've also got a discount code as well. So if you're wanting to get one, there's not going to be a better time than now. Now, aside from all of that, the main reason I wanted to make this video is to really show this to you guys, because in all honesty, if I would have known this product existed whenever I first got my Wrangler, I would have thrown it in immediately and I would have had to worry about the scratches I already have now. So hopefully some of you guys that haven't seen this product yet, now that you know it's out there, can go out there and get it, and you'll be able to keep your Jeep just a little bit more protected. Now, another thing I've got to go over with you guys is my upload schedule. Now, I know with this being a small channel, probably not too many of you care which day the uploads actually come, but as many of you know, I actually work in the car business. Now, I'm actually going to be moving to a different store, taking on a new position, and my off days are kind of going to change. I'll still be able to upload on Sundays, but aside from Sundays, my off day may change. So with that being said, I may have to start uploading on Tuesdays or Thursdays, whatever the case may be. Just keep an eye out for it. I'm still going to be producing just as much content, but it may just come out at a different day. And if you haven't already, please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you want to see next. But until next time, Godspeed.